Hello friends, it's really been a while. So today what we'll be looking at is a very simple stuff. So I just want to run this tutorial more or less like to catch up with what we've done or where we are at the wilmer center. So this is especially for students of code lab in the wilmer center. However, you can as well consume the content and get great value from it. Okay, so let's dive in. So we're using React, and what we want to do is to create a mini CRUD system. And there's this stuff I'm using which is from Google Chrome, and I sort of like this stuff. So I think what we're going to do is we should be able to design a card, and over there at the wilmer center, this is the card which we did. Okay, good. So we're going to try as much as possible to achieve this UI and do some awesome cool stuff with it. So this is where we are, this is where we're trying to get to, and this is more or less like a mimic of these, right? Okay, so let's get this party started. So the very first thing to do is to click on that, and so I'm just going to use my shortcut and use the RAFCE. So for some reason my IntelliSense isn't loading, so let me try it again. Still not loading. Then let's do it the usual way. So we'll say React from React, right? And then the next thing we're going to do is to say const app to be equals to, so we're using the functional way, and let's export. So export default. So this is going to take it's going to take a while, but you're going to get great value from it. So export default app, right? Okay, so in here now we can start fixing this up. So return and div, right? And that's okay. So let me just put another div, and yeah, I could say hello world. So this is the very first and simple code you can write at this moment, right? So we have these. So what we would want is to design just one card, and if we're able to design that card properly, we can populate it with data and get everything good. So what I would want first of all is to have this card, this write-up, come to the middle. So to achieve that, and okay, so let's just create a component for our CSS, and I think I should do this in a separate file so that it would make perfect sense. So what I'm going to do now is to say home screen. So this would make perfect sense. RAFCE, come on, why is my IntelliSense? Okay, good. So in here I could do the div again, and so let me just say welcome home. So save that, and right here we're going to import that in. So that is home screen, right? So import that, and good. So we should see home screen. That's beautiful. So another thing I would want to do is if you look at this, you can see the background color. So I'm using this picker tool to pick, so picking this color. I know it's kind of like gray anyway. So let me come to my CSS and do my background color, and that's something close, I think gray rather. So let it gray. I think this gray is not dark enough, so let me use this. That's cool. So if I save, I should see this. I think it's not even dark enough. So this is good. Yeah, so that's good. And let me just do color white, so I don't have to be doing it every time. So my color is white, so that's good. So what I want is to put this guy somewhere at the middle here, right? So to do that, I'm going to call class name. So we can't use class because by default, so container, it's raining out there. This is beautiful. So by default we have these, right? Class is a keyword, so we can't use class, right? So we have to use, let's say, class name thereabout. So we're using class name now. So let's move on. So what I'm going to do now is, let me save this first of all, then come here, copy that. So I'm going to create home screen, the CSS for that. So home screen dot CSS, right? So if I save that, and so container, okay, so I don't need this anymore, and I think I won't be going off here. So let me just do Control B to create more space for me. Okay, so let me import that which we just created. So we're going to do home screen.css to save that, and let's test it out. So if I do color and I say red now, so this should change to red, so that's good. So now what I'm going to do now is to give it a width of let me say 100%, right? And I'll do okay, so display flex. Then I'm going to do justify content center. So if I do that, we have it here. So another thing I'm going to do now would be my flex wrap. So let me do flex wrap. So this is good round. The essence for that is so that if I have multiple contents here, it breaks according to the screen. So if it gets to the tip of the screen, it breaks, right? So that's cool. So it helps my work to be more responsive or screen responsive. Okay, so what I'm going to do here now, let me just copy this, Ctrl C, and I'm going to say this would be body, right? So save that, and this is the part where we need to draw out the body. So remember, this is where we are going to, right? So let's do that now. So what I'm going to do now would be width. So let me give it a width of 300 px. I hope that's good. Then give it a height of about let me say 350, right? 350 px. Okay, so a height of 350 px. Cool. So that's good. So let me give it background color so that at least we can see what we're doing. Let me do red, right? So let me save this. Okay, beautiful. So this is what we're getting. So I'm going to do border radius of, let's say 10 px. Okay, so 10 px is good. Yeah, 10 px is good. Okay, so I'm going to do padding. So let me do padding. Let me just do 10, right? 10 px. So top, bottom, and the rest. So would have that. So that's good. And what else again? So I think everything is fine here. So I don't need this color. If I save that, we're not seeing anything. So let me do border, and I'm going to say 1 px solid, and I'll give it white smoke, right? Okay, good. So we can see this. So let me come down here and do padding top of let me say 50px, right? So we'll have it down here. So this is good now. So we're close to something. So what we need now is these two icons, right? So I'm going to come here now, and everything will be inside here. So that's good. So I'm going to say div, and I would say, so of course I know that I'll be having icons here, right? So let me do div. So in here, let me copy the whole of this and paste it here. So these will be icon, right? And I'm going to copy the whole of this and paste it here and say icon 1, right? And just so icon 1, so that's good. So let me just put 2, I think let me put 1 here and 2 here, so that at least we can be able to see what we've done. So that's good. So first of all, I need to copy this icon, then would say this, and so display right flex, save that. So we should see that now. So what we're going to do again is just to say justify, what this will be space between. So that's beautiful. So that gets us that. So that's all we need. Then why for this one, I'm going to copy this and do some stuff with it. So we're going to say so let's do a width first of all of, let me say 60px, and a height of same 60px. Then we'll do border radius of 30px, and background color of, I think I like this. Wow, that's super big, right? So let me try 30. So this should be 15. So the border radius has to be half of it so that it will be round. So this is fair. So something else I'm going to do is to say cursor pointer. Then if you would observe, these are 1. I think I should do color black, right? So that we can see it clearly. So you can see these are 1, right? It's not at the middle. So what we're going to do for that is to call display flex. Oops. So it's to call display flex. Then we'll do justify content. We'll have it at the center, and we would call our align items. We'll call it at the center as well. So that should fix this. Okay, so everything seems good. So something else I would want to call is to call text transform, and I'm going to call uppercase, so that if we have, let me say M here and we have N here, so we'd have it as cap lock. Okay, that's good. Another thing I would want to do is to say font size. Let me do 12px, so it's smaller, and then let me do font weight here. So this would be like bold, right? So make better sense. Yeah, so that's good. Okay, now that we've gotten that, the next thing we would want to do is for us to have this title here. So to achieve that, I'm going to call margin bottom here. I said let me use 50px margin bottom. So we can't see that yet until, so this was what we call the icon, right? So I'm going to call it here. So I'm going to say div, right? So let me put title here. So let me copy this, Ctrl C. So this would be the title, right? So let me copy this now and let's do some styling for it. You can see how simple this is, right? So I think what I just need is for me to say font size. Let me try 18, and I'm going to call font width to like bold, right? I think that's majorly. I think one more thing I should do is to call a text align. So text align, and let me use center, right? So we'll always have it at the center. I think that's fair. So the next thing to do is for me to just use my margin again, Ctrl C. But this time around I think 20 would be fine, right? Yeah, so I think 20 would, oh, this is much, so that means let me use 10 here. That's good. And here let me use 50. Good. So let me duplicate this, and right here I'm going to say time, right? So let me write 2 sec ago. Okay, so we have that. So I'm thinking I should bring this guy down some more. So let me try 70. I think that's fair. Okay, so now, oops. So let me just copy this, Ctrl C, Ctrl V. So this should be time, right? And I think I can make the font much more smaller. I think 11px will do, right? So that's good. And is there any point making it bold? I think that's fair. So let me just copy this margin again and paste it. But this time around, say 10 will do, right? So this is where we're going to have image, right? So let me come here and duplicate these again, but this time around I'm going to call img here. Ctrl C, Ctrl S, and paste that there. So we'll be doing a width of let me say 100. So we have a maximum width of I think 300, right? So let me try 280 and see how that will play out. So a height of let me see what 200 would look like. Then so we'll do objects fits to be cover, right? And what else can we do? Okay, so let me just try that out. So we're not getting anything yet, so let me see. Let me just call this should be img, and of course that's usually self-closing. So close that. Oops, this is what we're getting. Okay, so let's try and fix this guy. So let me do 90 here. Think 95. No, that's not still good. 97. I think I need one more, so let me do 98. So this is fair enough. Then for the height, I think I should do 150. Is 150 fair? Let me see, 170. I think this is good enough. So let me just increase the height a little, the height of my container. So let me do 90. Okay, so this is good, right? So a few things I would want to do, which is border radius, and I think 10 should be fine. Yeah, so 10 is fine. What else again should I do? So if you'd look here, you'd see these two icons, right? So let's fix those two icons. So those icons, let me look at it. So this is like a speech or comment, and this is like a save icon. So if I come to this point here, so I can find it here. So let me do I think bookmark or something. So this is it, right? So let me copy this. So in here we're going to say import that, oops, sorry, so from React icons slash BS. How do I know it's BS? So from this first two letters which we can see there. So the next is comment, right? So the next is comment. So this is good. So let me just duplicate this and save that, and this is BI. Awesome, right? So before we can do that, very important, we need to create a div. Then inside this div would have this guy, and of course we're going to have the other guy, which is this, right? Okay, sorry, this. Let's see. So this is for comment, right? So and save that. So if we should save, would see why am I not seeing anything here? Okay, so these are the two stuffs which we can see, right? So let's copy these again, Ctrl C, and paste it here, but this time around I'm going to target icons, right? So let's copy, save, and CRUD. So I'm going to do my display flex and justify content. So this is going to be space between, so have it like this. That's beautiful. So let me do font size. Oops. So font size to be like, let me say 20px. Let me see what about 30px? So that's too much, right? I think 25 will be fine. So that's fine, right? So I can do margin top right to be like, let me say 20px. Okay, this is good, right? So you can see how easy it is. We've gotten something close to what we have here, even much more better than what we have here anyway, because we want to do the CRUD, right? So now we've gotten these right. So so what I would want for here now is when they click here, let it change. So let me just come here and do cursor pointer, right? So this is not good, this is not good. So let me just cut it out, so it's not good, right? But what I want is when they click here, let it change to, at least to prove that it's saving. So that's book, right? So that's book. So this is the empty one. Good. So let me come here, do this, and paste it. So paste that. So BS. So I think I should just do this. So yeah, we don't need this. Okay, so that's good. So awesome, right? So what I'll do now is to create states that would undo that. So let me say for me to use states, I'll be needing this and this. Cool. So I'm going to come here and say const so let me do toggle, then set toggle to be equals to use state and by default, right? So I'm going to create a function for that. So I would say on toggle, let it be equals to, so it says set toggle to be the reverse of toggle. So should I make it so you can save it and unsave it, right? Okay, so save that. Now what we're going to do for that is, so this is a saved guy, right? So cut it out. So if we're writing a function here, a condition here, so if toggle is true, then display this, else it should display this, and that is this other guy, right? So let me save that and let's see what we have here. So we have this, right, because it's not saved. So but then if you'd click it, it should change, right? So what we're going to do for that now is to come here and do on click to be equals to on toggle, on toggle, right? So let me just copy this, Ctrl C, and paste it here. Awesome. So that's it. So now we're having this, but if I click here, you can see, so I can save and I can unsave. I think this is much more beautiful, right? Okay, so that's good. So what we're going to do now is for me to just put a dummy image here, at least for now, right? Or yeah, or is there need? Okay, no need. So what we're going to do now is just to populate it. So we're very confident that we've gotten something good, right? So from this good stuff we can do awesome stuff. So the first thing I need to do is to create a state for it. So let me just come down here and do const let me say dummy data, right, and set my dummy data. So that should be equals to use states, right? Then in here we can now set some data. So let's say we have ID of 1, we have title to be I love coding in React.js. Okay, so we have that. Then the next should be like so let me say time would be like, let's say we had 2 seconds ago, so let's just do that 2 sec ago. I'll fix that here. So 2 sec ago. And what else do we have? So we have image, right? So image. So at this point I think I would have to do some import img from dash, right? So we have this image slash 1.png. So basically this is the file which we're going into, and in here we have various files, right? So that's what we're going into. So so this image now I can call the image here. Okay, so let me save these. What else do we have? So we have this icon, right? So icon. So let's do icon, we have right? Okay, so this is good. I think everything is fine. So let me just populate this 3 times. So this would be 2, this would be 3, as well as let me populate here. So here would be 1 and here would be 2. So here would be 2 and here would be 3. So this would be 1, this would be 2, this should be like, let me say 9 seconds ago, and let's say this is like 6 seconds ago. So let me put here node.js, and let me have here MongoDB, right? So save that. Voila, that's good. So now we've gotten our data. How can we get here populated with the data? So this is more like a dummy backend, right? Or a dummy database. So how can we populate this guy here? So what I'm going to do is, this is the guy this is the body, right, that structured this whole thing. So I'm going to cut it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to say dummy data, right? And so if there is no dummy data, this won't run, but if there's dummy data, then this guy should run. So we're going to do dummy data.map, right? And in this map, we're going to pass props and paste all of these here. So but before I move on, I would like to put a key so that React won't start shouting at me, and that would be props.id, right? So that's cool. So if I should save now, you can see we're getting this. Isn't this amazing? So you can see that we don't have space between these guys, so let's fix that. So I'll go to the body, which is here, and just give it a margin of, let me say 10px, right? So that it creates space above, between, and etc. So this is it, right? Awesome. Okay, so what we're going to do now is to populate it. So let me just copy this. So for title, this would be title, right? So for time, so this would be time. And what else again? For image, where's the image? Okay, so this is my image. So we're going to say src to be, and so imgh. So let me save. So if we save, voila, isn't this amazing? Is it not amazing? Sure it is. Okay, so for some reason, yeah, it's okay. So this is good, right? So we've gotten our image. You can see the time auto-populated. You can see the title. So I think we need to fix this guy, right? So let's fix this rather than we having these here. So let it be delete button. Yeah, so let it be delete button. So let's come back here again and do delete, right? So copy that and drive here, boom, and come here to fix that. So that's AI, right? AI. So save that. Then this is it, right? Where we have in. So save that, and if we look at this, we can see our delete button, but it looks too small, right? We can fix that. Okay, so to fix that, what I'm going to do is, let me wrap this guy in a div, because I wouldn't want it to affect others, right? Cool. Good, right? So let me come here, copy this, Ctrl+C, and paste it here. Then this icon, I think I should just do delete. Save that. Now the essence of that is just for us to style the box, right? Just to style the box. So I can give it a color a color of red, right? So let me save here. Look at what's changing. So let me look at it again. This is what I'm supposed to do, not here, right? So so let me copy this, Ctrl C, come here and do Ctrl V. So delete this, delete this, delete that, then so cut this and cut it. Hope what I did now is not confusing. So this is what I want to change, not this guy here, right? Okay, so so I'm going to do font size to make it so let me try 20px. Let's see. Now this is better, right? This is pretty better. What about if I try white? Let me see, what would white give us? Oh, that's not good. So we have these, right? So this stands for delete. Awesome. So now we have content on our screen. Now what I'm going to do now is to create so something like so I don't know why this guy is white, but anyways, so want to have something that would enable us to impute data here, right? So up here, which is here, so what I'm going to do first of all is just to call React fragment, right? So that I would know everything is good. So at this point here, let me scroll down. So I'm going to call div, right? And I'm going to say hello. Let me see what I would get. So we're getting this, so that's good. So I'm going to let me copy this, Ctrl C, but I'm going to change this to be input container right now. So let it be like input container. So copy this and save here. So this is going to take a width of 100% again. Then a justify content, because I would want it to be at the middle. Okay, save here. Well, let me see what's wrong. Ctrl C, Ctrl V, save here, and save here, save. Okay. Oh, sometimes even the best of us have those kind of errors. So now we have this guy at the middle. So I'm going to call padding. Yeah, so let me do padding 30px, right? Or rather, let me do 50px then 0. So what that implies is that up and down 50, then left and right 0. So I think I should even bring it down some more. Let me try 100. Let's see. So this is fair, right? Okay, so having done that, the next thing I would want to do is to have two, more or less like have two boxes like this. So this would be my image preview, and this would be the inputs. Basically the input I'm just taking is just this title, right? So title and image. So right here I'm going to create a div, create another div, and inside this div I'm going to call two div. So this would be more like input, then why this would be display, right? Okay, so now let's fix this up. So I'll copy this and put it here. So I'm going to say input wrapper here, save that. Yep. So this is going to take a display of let me say flex, right? Flex, yeah. And a width of, let me do 700 px. Then justify content should be like let me say, let me try space around and see what that gives us. So we have these and we have these. Okay, so now let's start fixing. So let me copy the whole of these and put it here. So this would be input let me do inputs, right? Inputs. So paste that. I think let me think this through, or rather let me get my inputs here. So I'm going to take this input, right? So basically 2 inputs. This is going to be type of file, right? Majorly. Then this is going to be, let's say, type of text, right? And I'm going to call placeholder to be, let's say, enter the title. Yeah. Okay, so save that. So if we save that, this is what we're getting. Good. So this can help me focus. So we're going to do a display of flex, then we'll call flex direction to be column. That's good. So that fixes this stuff. So now what I'm going to do now in here, which is the inputs now, this input. So let me call class name again, put it here, and I think this should be input, right? And right here, call that. So this should be input. So save that. So boom. Awesome. So we're going to do, I think the width is okay, but then I'm just going to do height of about, let me say, 40px. Good. I think 40 is too much. Let's try 30. 30px is fine. And I just remember because of the width, so let me do 300px. Okay, that's good. Or I could do 350px. So that's good. And what else again? So I can do I think I can do padding left of, let's say, 10px. Okay, this is good. Right. So this is okay. Let me try margin. So up and down 0, no, up and down 10px, right and left 0, so we can have space. I think 10 is too much, so let me try 5. So 5 is fair. So if I click here, it goes to my file. So this is good, right? That's cool. So now let's work for the display. I just thought of something now, so let me just do that. I think right should be like 15px, so it pushes this guy away a little. Yeah, so that's good. So for the display now, let me copy this and come here and do, so this should be like input display. Save that. Good. So we're going to do width of let me say 250 px, height of let me say height of let me try 300 px, right? Then let me do background color of white to see. Okay, now this guy is too long, so let's cut it about this point here. So let's do 100 to see. 100 is too small. 80. Okay, so this is fair. Now I don't like the fact that this guy is somewhere here, so what holds them, I think it's the wrapper, right? So I can call align items center. Okay, so that's good, right? Now here we'll do border radius of as usual 10 px. Let's see. Okay, that's fair. Now lastly, let me just do object fit of cover, right? Okay, so this is good. So in here now, I won't, let me reduce here a little. So I won't control B. I won't call here a div. So I'm going to close that, and I'm going to call here img. So that's good. So this becomes the image for display. So what's it going to be displaying? Now let's get it out. So what we want is when we click here and we pick on, let's say, this image, would want this image to display here before we push row. I just remember we didn't call our button here, so that is here impute. So button, right? And let's say hard to TB. Yeah, let's do that, right? Again, I would like to copy this and paste it here so that we can now call the button. Copy this, save, right? So we'll do width of let me say 100 px, height of about let's do the same 30 px. Let me save that. Okay, so of course we'll do okay, so I would want it to be at the middle, so I need to look at what holds them, and this is it, right? So I'm going to say align items center, right? Good, that's it. So I can call margin top to be like, let's say 20 px. Awesome, right? This is good. And let me do background color of what should I use? Let me just see if I have let's see what this looks like. Not bad. Let me do a height of 50 and let's just increase it some more. Good. So I can do border radius. Okay, so border radius of, let me say, 5 px. I think a red button would be fine. I don't know how this would look like. And yeah, so let's do color of white, and we'll do font width of let's say then I'll do my text transform to be like text transform to be uppercase. We'll save this. Okay, so we have this is super good. Okay, so from what I can see, everything looks pretty amazing, like pretty amazing. So what we want to do now is when I click here, let's have it displayed here. So we're done with our styling. So now it's for us, what's left for us just to add functions and etc. So let's come to 1 2 3 4 5 6. So where we have okay, so this function now, so let's implement it. So we're going to say const so let's say upload image, right, to be equals to event, right, because when we click here, it's an event that and we've triggered the event function, so that's why we're passing this event here. So we're going to say file, right, to be equals to e.target, so target whatever image or whatever files we're picking at, and we just want the first file. So this should be constant, right? So now I'm going to say const let me say result, or yeah, let me just do result, doesn't really matter, right? So I would say URL, so whatever it picks, let it create the URL of that object and give it to us, so which is this. So to be sure that what we're doing is correct, I need to console log that result, right? So before we can do that, let me copy this and put it inside this our file, right? So through the onChange function, right? So put that there. So let's see. So I'll need to bring up my console log, right? So if I click here, okay, and I double click on this, so now we can see the URL created, right? So this URL created, we can now put it inside inside a state so that we can consume it anywhere in our app. So I'm going to say const, so let me say my image, so set my image to be equals to use state, then let me put a string. So I'm going to copy this now, and so rather than console logging that now, I'm going to set the result into this point here. So now this my image, I can now call it here. So where we have display, okay, so this is it, right? So I can now say sroc to be equals to that's my image display. Okay, beautiful. So now let's try the whole thing again. So I click here and I double click on this ruler. Can you see the image? Isn't this amazing? Yeah, so that's super cool. Now that we've done this, we have our image displaying. If I refresh, you can see that we're having a dummy image, right, like a white screen. That doesn't make sense. So what we're going to do is for us to have our default avatar there. So I'm going to look at this. So this dev dots, that's what I want to use. So I'm going to change the whole of this to be dev dots gif, right? And this would be like, let me call it avatar, and that will I paste here, right? So if I should save that, So we're seeing this, right? If I refresh, this would now become our default avatar rather than we having just a blank screen. So now if I click here, because of our unchanged events, once we do that, it changes to that guy. Amazing, right? That's cool. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is ability for us to capture contents here. So if I click, if I type, let's say I am so loved, right? I type this contents here. How do I see it, right? So what we're going to do for that now, first of all, is for us to be able to capture text. So we'll create a state for that. So I'll say set that to be equals to use state empty, right? So that's good. So in our input, which is here, we're going to call value, and value is going to take text, and we're going to call unchanged, and that's going to take event, right? So this is a callback, and we're going to say set text to be e.target.value. Okay, so that's beautiful. So whatever we typed here will be captured, right? So if I come to this my button now and call my on-click, so let it console log the text, right? So let's see if we can get that. So if I write I am so loved here, and I click on this ruler, we can see we are getting this. Okay, so that's beautiful. So now we're getting the image and we're as well getting the text. So that's all we need in order to populate in order for us to populate our database anyway, or our dummy database. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create the add function. So let's do add item. I think we should do the delete item first. Oh, it doesn't really matter. So let's do add item to be equals to this. Okay, good. So we're going to write a very pure JavaScript function, right? So this would be like me saying set dummy data, right? And we would put value here. So remember that these are dummy data takes an array, right? It takes an array of objects, right? So we're going to call array. Now rather than me writing every object we have inside here one by one, because we can as well do something like this, copy this, put this here, right? Then come out here, comma, then put my text. But doing this is tedious, right? So what we're going to do is for us to put our spread operator, right? Put our spread operator and call dummy data, right? So what this implies is everything we have inside here, inside is our dummy data. So it's recognizing it, it's taking them all, right? Now that we've gotten that, the next thing we have is this guy is going to take one parameter, which is text. And if you look at our object, we have ID, image, we have image, and so on and so forth. So it doesn't make sense we working like this. So what we're going to do here now is for us to create an object. So I would say const let me say items, right, to be equals to this object. So now I'm going to call ID. Remember, we need to get an ID. So the ID is basically an increment of this ID. So to do that, I'm just going to say dummy data.length, right, plus 1. So that gives us the ID. Text or title rather. Title is our text. Whatever we're typing here becomes our title, right? So that's good. Our image is going to take what did we call that? We call it my image, right? So our image is going to take my image. So time is going to take the JavaScript object, so we'll say dot now, right? That's good. And lastly, we have icon. So icon, we're just going to make icon take whatever would be the first character we'll put in here, and that would use we can use text dot char at, right? 0, so which will be the first. So these items we can now pass it here. Awesome, right? So if this is right, we're going to know. So when we test it out, we'll know if it's working fine, but I trust it's working fine, right? So I'm calling that method inside the add button. So now that I've done that, let's see. So I click on this, I pick on this. I love coding. I think okay, I'm so low, so let me just have that, and I click that hula. Can you see this? Whoa, isn't this amazing? You can see it, right? Awesome, right? Okay, so I just realized something, that I would want this thing to shine more when I scroll into it. So what I'm going to do for that is, that's the body, right, which is this. So let me just duplicate this and come in here and do over, right? And basically what I just want, I don't want any of these, I don't want any of this, so I just want this to be, let's say, white. So save that. So when I scroll in, I'm not seeing any difference, right? Or can you see difference? Okay, it's showing but still too small. So what I'm going to do now is, let me take it to 3 so that we can see it clearly, right? Boom, we can see that, right? But too big. So let me take it to 2. Okay, now I don't like it because it's shaking our stuff. So let me try opacity, and let me do 0.4. Let's see, I don't like that. So 1, right? Okay, so this opacity not needed. So this should be like, let me say, light gray. So light gray. So we have that, right? So awesome, right? Let me see what to look like. Okay, not bad, not bad. So that when we move in, we can slightly see that changes, right? Or let me use gray. Good, yeah, beautiful. So I just want to add transition. So that would be like, let's say, all 350 ms. Okay, good. So it goes fading smoothly, right? Okay, awesome. So this is good. I think I can take this guy to 3. Take this guy to 3. Okay, cool, right? So that's good. So we have this. We can change this. Oh, don't worry. We can fix that guy. So let's do this now. Okay, so now we have ability to add content here, right? Awesome. So the next thing I'm going to do is to delete. So before I run that delete, I could just run set 1 2 3 4 5 6. So set my image to go back to avatar, and set text to go back to empty, right? So whenever I click on that, so let's edit reform. So let me try that and let's see what would get. So I click here, I do that and I do I am so love, right? And I click here, so it goes back to avatar. Here it's empty. I will get the content here. Boom, that's beautiful. Okay, so now to delete, we would say so we'd say const delete item, right? Now note something. Before we can delete a button, we have to identify which button we are on, or which item rather we are on. So what would help us achieve that is the ID, so we'd pass that ID there. So now I'm going to say const remove item to be equals to, remember we'll need to pass so we'll do dummy data dot, we're using a JavaScript function of filter, so that's what we'll use. So this will take a callback, right? So I'm going to do el, then el dot id, so would make it not equals to the id, so whatever we're picking should not be equals to other id, so we're picking that particular one. So whatever it gets, let it return it to our dummy data, right? So we'd say remove item, so that's beautiful. Then this delete function would have to put it inside this delete button, which is this. So we're going to call the onClick function and throw that. No, won't be using this. So we're going to throw that inside and pass our id props.id, right? So we'll pass the id there. So if we do that now, if I click here, boom, it's gone. Awesome, isn't that amazing? So if I do that again, boom, that's gone, right? So that's super amazing. So I think we'd have to fix this guy here, right? So what I'll do for that now, these are toggle, I'm going to pass, here's our toggle, so these are toggle, so I would have to pass id there, right? So where we called that toggle, so we'd call it out and call this toggle again, so we'll say props.id. but the thing is, let me see, oops, I'm still getting it right. The thing is, we did not pass, there's nothing, so it's actually looking at everything in our work. So this is just a dummy test, so we can as well put true or false inside here, right? So let me say save, right? False. So let me just copy this, paste it, then come here, paste that. So by default we're getting save of false, right? So and so let's see. So what we're changing is the false. Okay, so what we're basically changing at the toggle here is the false, right? So we don't need this here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to call set dummy, right? So if I call set dummy, so this is going to take all of my dummy and it's going to save, right, would be changed to true. So that's good, right? So if I do this, oops, it's adding, that's not what I want. Okay, it's adding, and whenever it adds or getting empty, that's not what I want to do. So let me Okay, so let me just, oops, I have crashes. Okay, so let me just leave these, would come to it later. So let me have it back to where it was before. Okay, good. So what else do we want to do now? Let me see. So we can have content, we can delete content, right? And we can save. Isn't that amazing? Okay, so rather than having this default time, let's change it to something good. So we downloaded Moment. So what we're going to do is to say import Moment, right, from Moments. Okay, good. So from Moment, right? So now we can use this Moment. So I'll come to where we had time. Where do we have time? Time show thyself. Okay, so this is it, right? Paste that, and we're going to use dot from now method. Okay, so if we do that, we should be saying invalid time here, but not to worry, everything is super cool, right? We're saying invalid time here. So if I come here and let me double click on these again, and I do I am so loud, right? And I had that in, so we can see a few seconds ago. Of course, we'll remove all these dummy. Now the problem we're seeing here, which is obviously going to be the last thing we'll do, is when I refresh, we're getting our stuff to be empty. So if we look at our storage, and that is here, we're not seeing anything. So there's nothing in our storage, right? So there's nothing in our storage, right? So how do we fix that? So we're going to use the local storage to do that. So I'm going to say use effect, right? Boom. Now in here, so in here we're going to pass parameter, and the parameter I want to use to store or keep our database always live is for us to do the dummy data, right? So once we're done with that, so I'm going to do local storage dot set item. So this is going to take a key, so we want to use storage, right? Then so we'll do json.stringify, and we'll pass our dummy data there. So that's it. So after putting file inside our dummy data, we need to get that data. So this would be get, we don't need this, and the whole of this not needed. So so I'm going to say const let's say save data, right, to be equals to json.parse, right? Then the next thing we're going to do is to run our set dummy and pass our save data. That's it. Boom. That is all we have to do. So if I should refresh this, presently we're getting no, but you can see that items are coming up. So let me look at these, and I think okay, so let's look at these. I don't, what could be possibly wrong? So it's appearing and disappearing. So what's the problem? json.parse, yeah, get item storage, nothing is wrong. Stringify, passes data, and boom, everything is fine. use effect. Do we have use effect imported? Yes, we do. We have use effect. So let me see, because for some reason I'm seeing no in my data. So okay, good. Length, right? Cannot read property length of no, and that's coming from, yeah, from this my ID. So let's look at it, right? Okay. Control C, Control V. Is not iteratable. That's my map, right? That is at this point here. So what's missing? Because everything looks good. Okay, let me remove this first. So the error basically is coming from here. But let me call it and let's see. Okay, boom, we're getting items. So let's see what's possibly wrong. So const this set data, yeah, local storage, dot get items, stringify, do everything is pretty cool. Yeah, so let me quickly do this back. Yeah, so I'm back. So let's see, jsim.parse, boom, everything looks good. Everything looks good. Okay, so let me just call window, even though I don't believe this is where the error will be coming from. Okay, so I think what I have to do is to run this code again. So let me run the code again, because I'm very positive that it's correct, right? So I would say use effect. Good. So I need to pass dependency of my dummy data, right? Good. So in here I'm going to call let me do window for some reason. Okay. Not really. Let me see first. I need IntelliSense to local storage dots. So why is my IntelliSense not coming up? Okay, so dummy data. So window dot local storage dot set item, right? Then this is going to take, so let me do store, right? Then this is going to take JSON dot show that right? So it's refusing to show dummy data. So I don't need this. I don't need this. So this would be get, right? I think I should just check it. I don't like it when my IntelliSense is not popping up. Oh, so the same dot path, right? The path. So I could say set dummy data. Getting that same. Okay, so let me check what was the problem. Application. So it's saying storage no data. Why would it be saying storage as no? So it appears and go away. So let me, and in my storage, which is this, I have this, so let me just remove this first. Good, so I'm getting data. So the issue is coming from this my path. That's where the issue is coming from. Okay, so let's see. Use effects, so we can say save data rights to be equals to JSON.path, right? Now let's say, so window dot local storage dot get item. So it's getting item from store. Okay. So now it says set. Let dummy data to be saved. That's it. What was the problem before? Is there any difference between what I just did now and what I've been doing? Oh. Okay, so now if I should delete this, let me refresh this guy because for some reason, why are thou not picking up? Ctrl Shift I. this can happen because components get inside the user field, but user field either doesn't have the dependency and okay. Awesome. Yeah, so now I delete, and if I refresh, we can see that it's persistent, right? So this is awesome. So now let me add content. Let's do GitHub. Yeah, so let's do GitHub. Awesome, right? So if I should push that, we can see let's do GitHub. And this time around, if I refresh, we're seeing a few seconds ago, right? And let me delete this. Why was that? Or what was it? Hey. Okay, so let's try that again. Let's roll. Let's roll, right? Oh. Okay, so we have these, and let me add another content to be sure that I so love this. Push it, right? Let me delete it. Okay, good. So I think I double clicked on that, so that was the reason why. So and let's do GitHub again. Let's do GitHub. Right, so we can have as many data as possible here, and everything is super cool. So that's it, and this is just early morning drill, and I hope this is cool for you guys. Okay, so let me add one thing that would make this stuff so beautiful. So if I click on this, let me refresh, so you can see what's happening there, right? And even now, that's it. So you can see that before it loads up. So even though I'm doing this, so first of all, let me come to material UI, and let me come to progress. So let it load up. Okay, so this is it, right? This is it. Awesome. So what I want to do now is just to make it even cooler, right? So I'm going to mimic the internet sort of like. That's what I'm going to do now. So in order for me to achieve that, or to show what I want to show you guys, so the first thing I'm going to do is just to remove these, right? So that we would love what we want to do. So we have these, right? So that's good. So I can delay the internet, because if you look at this, if I click here, you can see a little delay before the content shows, right? So we can mimic that. So how do we mimic that? So I'll use effects. We can use a set interval to do that, right? Good. So now that we have these, what I'm going to do now is to call the set interval. I know this thing is taking long, so I have to be fast with it. So let me say we want to mimic the internet for like 2 seconds, right? And right here we're going to say set dummy data. Now quickly, what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut from here down to this point away, and I'm going to write null, right? So at the beginning of time we're having no data, then after a few minutes, which is 2 seconds, after a brief in time we will get the data. So let's mimic that now. So if I refresh this, so you can see that after 2 seconds we're getting the data. boom, we get the data. Now between when we're trying to get the data, we can do something, right? So this is the point where the data shows this point, right? This is the point where the data shows, and what we did here was to say that if this is true, run this, right? What about if this is not true? What should happen? So what I'm going to do to that is let me close this guy and let me come up here and let's do this. So I'm going to do not, right? Or rather, let me do dummy data, right? And I'm going to call it div, and I would say loading, right? So I'm going to call loading. So we should see this loading here, right? I think this whole stuff, let me put it up here, save that. Okay, for some reason I don't like that because I would want it to be at the middle. Oh, this is where it is, and I think it's better off here to save, right? So we can see this guy. So let me just do inline styling to have it at the middle. So I'm going to say sky, right? I'll do a width of, in fact, do I need that? We just do display of flex, and I'll do justify intelligent, we are down. So I'll do justify content center, right? Yeah, so that's it. So we can see this loading, right? Isn't that amazing? So now what we can now do to this is when there is no data, that's when we want this guy to load. So as long as there is data now, we shouldn't see that. So let me do this again. So if I do this, so at this point there's no data, but when data comes up, it goes off. We can now see this. So something we can do is let me come to this part here and copy. First of all, let me copy this, Ctrl C, and paste it. Then let me copy this, so I can remove these now and paste this. So save that, right? We're not seeing it now. So if I should do this, so I guess it's still compiling. Ctrl G. So my guy is still compiling. Done compiling. So we can see this, right? So that's telling us that data is loading, right? So we can see that data is loading. That's good. But now we can even make it much more beautiful. Rather than having this, we can make it much more beautiful. So how are we going to do that now? So there's this dependency import. So let me just do content loader from so React content loader, I suppose. So this dependency, we can use it and it has great tools. So what I'm going to do is at this point here, let me just assume and let's call that content loader. So if I should save, we're going to see this, right? We're seeing this. Now let's make this thing good. Let's make it much beautiful. So I know there is speed. I can take speed to be 2. We should have foreground color. Let me have the foreground color to be let me do white. and I can have the background color to be green. So if I save, yeah, so we can see what's happening here, right? So that's beautiful. And we can work with height. We can work with width, and let me do 200. We can work with height, and let me do 200 as well. We can work with, that's good. So we can work with the view box. So these are just few of the stuff which I want to. So let me do 200 and 300. So save that. Okay, so this is not bad. Now that's good. So something else would want to do, like they have some cool deconstruction which we can use, and what I want to use now is the Instagram style. So if I save this now, copy that and come down to here and paste that, we'll see a change, right? So this is good. So what I want to do is just make it a little bigger, right? So let me come to this part and use 400 and see how it's like. Okay, so that's good. Let me come to this height and use 500 and let's see how it's like. I don't like that. 300. So let me use 500 here. Okay. Can I make this a little bigger? So that's not good. I have 500, right? So let it be this. Let me see if I do 500 here, how it will look like. Let me try 600. Okay, not much different. Let me try 400. Okay, so this is quite good, right? So let me duplicate this guy. Okay, I think I can have one more. Awesome, beautiful. Okay, so I don't need this. Good, right? That's cool. Okay, so I can call 10 here, Ctrl C, Ctrl V, right? Ctrl C, Ctrl V, and V. So save that. Let's make do with it. So I think I can do margin. I can do margin left here, and I'll just do 20 px. Let me see. Margin left, sorry, margin right. So I'll do margin right there. I couldn't find a change. So let me do, okay, I spelled it wrongly. Margin right. So it's getting smaller rather than push. Now let me try padding. The padding right, the padding left. It should be left. Okay, that's good. So this is what I want. I just needed to push away from that, so I think I can even do 3 steps. Let it push away some of it. I can see space here, so that's good, right? Awesome. So now what I can now do is to put that there. Since I'm having data, I shouldn't see that. So now if I refresh, I should see this loading. Boom. Isn't that amazing? Super amazing, right? So you can play with these, and that is it for now. So let's try some. I know if I should do this without some glitch going on. I know that because I've tried it before. Yeah, so that's super cool, right? I don't need this, so you can see what's happening here, and that's because of that set interval and preview. So to fix that up, I just need to remove this. So let me just take my code back to where it was before. Let's do Ctrl C, and the whole of these I can cut out, and right here where we have none, I paste that. Boom. So we have this beautiful stuff, right? So if I come down to, and I say let's do some coding, and I punch, boom, we can see it here. Let's do some coding. I can delete, and if I refresh, everything is good, super good. And you can see a few seconds ago I can now remove all of these and add some more. Coding is fun. Let me add something like that, put that in a right. Coding is fun, beautiful. So this is a simple display of what you can achieve with a CRUD. You start working everything up, and I believe that students, you can see this and do make you with it. So thanks.